Boston. It's the city you know. The city of history. The city of champions. But we are also a city of people. A city of resilient, passionate, determined, loving people who have overcome odds and stared down challenges. A city of cobblestones and corner stores, mom and pops, five-star shops, unwavering classics. This is a city where new voices are emerging, determined to work harder, dream bigger, and become stronger. Whatever you seek, whoever you are, there's a place for you here. An unexpected adventure, a fresh flavor, a sound you've never heard before. Our doors are open. Our tables are set. This is Boston, and we are all inclusive. Join us at allinclusiveboss.com.
There wasn't much to say.
There wasn't much I could do.
I was too late.
Too scared.
Too shocked. Too desperate. I saw him there.
Lying.
Not moving. And it was a surge.
A rush of fear.
The only thing I could think of.
Why? Why would you do this?
Why didn't I notice?
Who caused this?
How could I have stopped it?
Was it my fault? Could it happen to me?
I ask myself those questions every day.
I think about it a little.
A lot.
Too much.
I think
It's possible.
that I need
help.
You are tuned into a W617 Afm Creative Radio Special Presentation. Brought to you by The Right of Life and Creativity with author Prometheus Christopher. AFM Creative Radio. Where creativity meets culture and the music provides the soundtracks to our lives. AFM. One world, many stories.
To me, I think that cultural competency is just being able and willing, not necessarily comfortable with, but willing to work with, learn about, or engage with different cultures. That means that you can work with a broad array of people, but you can also engage with that community of different people that may not look like you.
True cultural competency and acceptance also means recognizing that those cultural backgrounds may make people respond to conflict differently than you do. They may make people communicate differently than you do, and that might happen in ways that are sort of off-putting, and you can't negatively respond and immediately say, oh, well, this person's a poor communicator, or oh, I don't like this person's approach to conflict, without understanding that there are so many more factors at play there.
The whole purpose of diversity is diverse thoughts and opinions, right? Like, it goes beyond race or religion. There's so much more to it.
It's not always super comfortable. It's not always super fun to think, I did it this way my entire life. I thought that's how everybody did it. Well, that's a strategy that works for you, and that's awesome. And there's also different strategies that work for different folks. And it doesn't make either of them wrong. It just means that we experience things differently.
As long as you're having those open, honest conversations, I think that we are able to move the needle a little more forward, because then they might be interested or curious, like, okay, well, what is outside of, the street that I live on or the town that I live in? And then they will start to come across people that look different from them, act different from them, eat different foods, and they might be more open to those things.
I feel like it's so many of us is like stay in what makes us comfortable, stay in a little bubble of what makes us comfortable. And I can relate to that needing that comfort. I can understand that, but at the same time, you cannot get to experience so many other people from so many different points of views if you don't get to if you don't get to step out of that comfort zone.
One word to describe cultural humility for me is love, actually.
If I had to encapsulate cultural humility, or the whole concepts of cultural humility, it doesn't do it justice, but the word that I think of it is essence.
Escuchar.
Being. You.
Opening.
Receive. Compassion.
Love.
The principles of cultural humility offer one more framework to contribute to what has got to be our ultimate goal. Yes, our ultimate goal is that there will be a sense of equity, a sense of equality, and a kind of respect that we are driving forward.
Some people find their path early. Others stumble into it after falling a few times. And some, they're still walking, still wondering. And that's okay. Purpose isn't a destination. It's a whisper that gets louder the more you listen. It's hidden in the moments you thought didn't matter. In the late nights, the quiet tears, the sudden laughs. And the sparks that light you up from the inside. You're not behind. You're not lost. You're becoming. At W617 Afm Creative Radio, we believe in your journey. We believe in music that mirrors your soul. Stories that remind you who you are. And a community that walks with you while you figure it all out. So take your time. Find your rhythm. And trust that every step is part of your becoming. Your path has purpose. Your purpose has power. And we're right here with you.
Cultural humility is a multi-dimensional concept, and certainly Melanie Tervalon and I conceptualized 3 dimensions.
The first is lifelong learning and critical self-reflection. And in that critical self-reflection, it is the understanding of how each of us, every single one of us, is a complicated, multidimensional human being. Each of us comes with our own histories and stories, our heritage, our point of view. You're looking at me now. I am very fair-skinned. When I was a little girl, my hair was blonde. My eyes are blue. People often tried to call me anything but African American. I have a history. My identity is rooted in that history. My parents gave me the knowledge of my own social identity, and my own experience in life has created that. I get to say who I am.
The second tenet, after self-reflection and ongoing lifelong learning and development, is this notion that we must mitigate the power imbalances, to recognize and mitigate the power imbalances that are inherent often in our clinician patient or clinician client or service provider community dynamics.
And then finally, the piece that I would offer that Jan and I feel people often either don't read or don't like, which is, and the institution has to model these principles as well.
An African-American nurse is caring for a middle-aged Latina woman several hours after the patient had undergone surgery. A Latino physician on a consult service approached the bedside and, noting the moaning patient, commented to the nurse that the patient appeared to be in a great deal of post-operative pain. The nurse summarily dismissed his perception, informing him that she took a course in nursing school in cross-cultural medicine and knew that Hispanic patients overexpressed the pain that they're feeling. The Latino physician had a difficult time influencing the perspective of this nurse, who focused on her self-proclaimed cultural expertise.
It was curious to this Latino physician who, first of all, was Latino, not like all, in his case, not like all Mexican Americans know everything there is to know about Mexican American patients. That wasn't it, but he might have been a resource for that African American nurse in that moment that she didn't feel like she needed again because she had bought into this notion of competence, of cultural competence.
The distinction between cultural humility and cultural competence was that we were in a process and a relationship that had many other layers to it, and that we were less comfortable with even the term of competence in a way that I think people understand well, and that it implies, especially for people who are providers and are trained in academia, that you are then all-knowing and all-powerful.
There once was a child who lost it all: family, home, safety, and self. Then one day, everything stopped. A loss. A breakdown. Silence. The kind of silence that makes you question if you were ever really living at all. Days blurred. Nights got heavy. And in the middle of that storm, they picked up an old notebook. Started scribbling thoughts, lyrics, memories. They dusted off a keyboard. Started pressing keys without rules, just feeling. And for the first time in a long time, they breathed. That notebook became a song. That song became a lifeline. That lifeline became a path. Music didn't fix everything, but it opened the door to healing, to clarity, to purpose. They didn't go back to who they were. They became who they were meant to be. Stronger, softer, realer, wiser. And now, they use their voice to help others find theirs. Because that's the power of creativity. It doesn't just save lives. It shows you who you really are. W617 Afm Creative Radio, where your comeback story begins.
It had many other layers to it, and that we were less comfortable with even the term of competence in a way that I think people understand well, and that it implies, especially for people who are providers and are trained in academia, that you are then all-knowing and all-powerful. And we felt like that was not what was happening for us as we were learning from community and understanding in a very practical way how families were coming to the hospital and feeling as if they really were not being heard from their own heritage and history, and how that impacted what they came to the hospital with that we didn't know anything about, hadn't even a clue about. For us, this is part of the humility piece of it, getting to understand that, not trying to humiliate you, not trying to make you feel bad, trying to help us all understand that life is like this, and to, in a certain sense, be really happy about not knowing.
In April of 1992, in the wake of the Los Angeles riots, following the initial not guilty verdict of the police officers accused of beating Mr. King, the Children's Hospital Oakland community was compelled to meet in a series of highly charged sessions to expose and critique our own patterns of institutional racism, injustice, and inequity. My name is Dr. Melanie Turvalon, and I am Director of Multicultural Affairs here at Children's Hospital Oakland.
I want to thank everybody for coming to what is a celebration for me of this year.
Jan and I had the good fortune, really, to be together in the same place when this work was evolving. Jan and I, while we're several years difference in age, are both African American women, and both raised by women who were teachers. And we come out of that, and fathers who were working men, who come out of that Southern tradition and who participated fully in the civil rights movement in the way that meant that they made sacrifices and their children made sacrifices, and they taught us about those sacrifices and raised us each in ways to understand that we were here to serve.
The chill is fading, the sun's sticking around a little longer, and spring is waking up New England. We all know what that means. Summer is right around the corner. At W617 Afm Creative Radio, we're soaking it all in. The blooming vibes, the fresh air, and the electric energy of what's to come. From live music and creative festivals to community cookouts, art pop-ups, and mental health gatherings. This summer's about connection, creativity, and culture, and we're showing up big. We're planning to be in the mix all season long, bringing you the sounds, stories, and soul of the city. Interviews, live coverage, pop-up moments, exclusive features. We're making this summer one to remember. So pack your shades, turn us up, and stay close. Because AFM is about to bring the heat with you. W617 Afm Creative Radio, your soundtrack for the season.
The great thing about the music business, or the business of the music business, is that it always changes. The only thing I can say to any of the songwriters, musicians, singers, is that, just make sure whatever you do, you give it the very best that you can. And magical is only in the performance that you do, and by maybe something that happens overnight by some chance. But realistically, you got to put the work in to get the results out. I love so many different songs, and they used to ask Duke Ellington what was his most favorite composition, and he would always say, I haven't written it yet. And I think I have to say the same thing. I'm sorry, I can't move it any further forward. I have certain days that are Isn't She Lovely days, certain days are So What the Fuss days, certain days are Someone You Love. It just varies, so I can't really say, okay, this is the song, this is the that. I honestly can't.
No New Year's Day to celebrate, more distant as the Milky Way.
Well, life itself is what drives me. Not to be so bold as to speak for everyone, but that's what my inspiration is, just life itself. And I'm encouraged by just hearing new stuff. There's always something new out there. I listen to new music, new artists, and the artists that say they were influenced by me, I'm influenced by them, and it goes back and forth. But I think in saying that, I can't imagine, and I don't want to imagine a world without copyright protection. Yeah.
That's it for today's broadcast, and from all of us here at W617 Afm Creative Radio, thank you. Truly, we're grateful for every moment you spend with us, every song you vibe to, and every story you share. This station exists because of you, our creative, passionate, resilient community. Your support means the world, and it helps us keep the music playing, the conversations flowing, and the message of mental health, creativity, and connection alive. To support us, follow us on social media, share our shows, and tell a friend to tune in. And if you're feeling generous, visit our website to donate, volunteer, or become part of the W617 family. Until next time, stay strong, stay inspired, and remember, W617 Afm Creative Radio is always here, in your corner, and in your headphones. Your story, your sound, your station.